celebrating together so joyfully. Words pour out from our kind souls. There is no place for inflated egos.
What the hell?
This place is home to you and me. Surroundings familiar, a community. Let's write the words from our minds. All those adventures will be sublime. This group belongs to the member poets, caring and sharing those precious moments. Let's laugh together, then share some tears. Emotions displayed without anxiety or fear. Quill and Parchment Society, elevating poets, honoring art, enriching souls, celebrating community.
Zach, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Well, my headset has actually isn't working. So I'm doing this on the speakers or on the laptop. It says ready to pair now, which is fantastic. I love that. I'm not going to go through that process. What I'm going to try to do is just do the show from here, from the laptop. Can you hear me okay?
You are kind of like, your voice is fluctuating a bit, but I can still hear you okay.
Okay.
I hear you a bit better now.
What I'll do is try to get situated here. Sorry about the trouble, but here we go, right?
All good, man.
Yeah. Apparently, it forgot my headset.
Disconnected.
Yes,
Bluetooth,
disconnected to it, and I'm going through the troubleshooting process, and the music stopped. So I was like, "Oh Lord,
I gotta do it. The music stops."
So this kind of stuff does happen. You know, it does happen, and from there, we're ready to go here. Let's see. Anything you got announcement wise, Zach? You want to say?
Oh, before we launch into it, it'd probably be good to mention that the Parchies and other folks at home could find where we're reading from at the top of the topics board, where it says the Reading List Podcast, episodes 17 and 18, and you'll find all the poems that we're about to read from there.
Yep, we'll go down the list from start to finish. I just repopulated everything and got it to where Zach's reading his and Bill's reading his, so that's always good. The one thing I do want to mention to everybody is we are celebrating our Poet of the Month, who is Dark Night of the Soul this month.
Congratulations once again.
Yes,
for sure.
Everybody let him know we appreciate his poetry. And from there, I suppose we're ready to get started. First on the list, Zach.
That's Deborah Lee 05's piece, and that's entitled "It Is Not Okay That You Left Me," and that's your read.
I'll read that one because that puts us on the right pace, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
It's Not Okay That You Left Me by Deborah Lee 05. There are no words for your absence, no bandage to stretch across my grief. You left like a chord breaking mid-song, and I was left shouting to the world. It is not okay that you left me. I keep pressing my hands into your distance, hoping the shape of you will return. They tell me that grief is a storm, but this feels more like a vacuum. I am holding my breath in your space, the silence so heavy it bruises my lungs. Death is a country I can never unpack from. Every corner reminds me of you leaving. I keep thinking, what do I do now with the secrets I told only to you? With this love that has nowhere to go, how does the heart grow anything now? Where do I put all this wanting? Everywhere I turn, you're unfinished. A sentence left hanging in midair. Time is supposed to smooth edges, but mine cut my hands open. I thought I could carry this ache, but it drops me, and all I can think is, it is not okay that you left me. In poem. I'm going to read the author's notes. This poem is written for and inspired by the beautiful thoughts and words of Stefania Giovanni's poem, My Star. It is a personal account of a loss I feel so deeply daily that some days it consumes my every thought. That makes sense because that's the way it felt. Your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, it felt like a permanent sort of feeling, like no bandage could relieve this sort of pain, this kind of heartbreak that is, it's very visceral, like in a sense that like a song ends abruptly and it's just like you expect more, but there's just nothing left. And I was really struck by the phrase "grief is a vacuum." Because it's kind of like just the singularity or black hole that kind of sucks feeling inside, and I think that's what is happening to the speaker. Like that's where all the love is going. That it's just feeding this sort of this void that is just like an ever-growing country, like an expanding universe, like it's just omnipresent, and the speaker I don't think knows what to do with all these feelings because it's such a new feeling of being overwhelmed essentially, and there's a feeling of like being like left to the like forces of it feels like a sense of wrongness and just like a sense of wrong pervading over everything, and just that like it's a visceral feeling. It's also physical in the sense that the hands are cut, and physically because the hands are cut, the speaker can't carry this ache that is sort of there at all times, not really knowing what to do with it. It just doesn't feel right or fair in a way. That feels like fairness is just not in the equation. It's thoroughly visceral, and it's a well-written poem from Deborah. Thanks for sharing this one, for sure.
I especially like what you said there, pointing out about the hands, Zach, because my thoughts on that was it felt like, something slung over her shoulder and laying across her back that she's holding on to like a rope. And that's what caused the hands to burn over time and start to bleed and all that. It's kind of the way I took it. And you pointed it out because I think that was an important point in the poem. This is not a new feeling. This is a feeling that has had plenty of time to gestate and, has come from obviously, whoever this is about left abruptly, left, unexpectedly. And you can debate whether that makes it easier or not. It doesn't either way, because grief is grief. It's the person being gone. And this is a very, very soft, well put together grief. I think it doesn't overdo it, emotionally. It hits you in all the right spots with the softness and the kindness, and lets you feel the emotion that the writer Deborah Leo is writing. That she is feeling with us. So it's very effective that way, and that's the hallmark of a great grief piece. Zach, you and I have talked over grief pieces many times on the show and privately in messages. Between each other, and there's an appreciation for that feeling when you can be drawn into it and understand a little bit about the relationship between the writer and the person that they're writing about being gone. So that's a great grief piece in that respect. Let's see what do we got next, Zach.
Next up, we have Garden Delights piece, and that's entitled Imaginary Lover, and I'm going to give that a read.
Oh, that's a song title too.
He comes to me with the tide, unfettered, like a song freed from the grasp of this earth. His touch is the wind, salted anew, curling off the waves, lifting a conch to my ear. Memories of us echo within. Yet how briefly we held today, before it slipped into yesterday. Weep softly with the angels, as they gather you up. Their song of crimson suns surround us at twilight, pouring through flesh, rising like the tide. Wings headed for lofty heights, with my hopes tucked inside. End poem.
It says here is the prompt. It's a Suno track in the author's notes. Good read too, Zach, by the way. But that's all it says in the author's notes. Let's see. Contest by Kasnakai. Echoes of a Song too. Okay, so it is about a song. Yay. I recognized the song title myself and it started actually going in my head. But one of my favorite things, Zach, as you read this, and disregarding the image, because the image is cool. It's a turbulent ocean with an overlay of a man and a woman getting ready to kiss in an embrace. So it's a beautiful picture. But aside from that picture, this is mentioned. There's two places that it's mentioned. 3. His touch is the wind, salted anew, hinting at an ocean, at a beach. And then there was a conch mentioned, and another place down there. It mentioned another subtle mention. It didn't say, hey, we're on a beach. It hinted at being on a beach and took you there. And that's what's neat about like that. They say you hear all the time, show and don't tell. Don't just say it. Put somebody there. And that's what this piece does. It puts you in that frame of mind. And it was great. It was a fairly short piece and easy to read. And it sounded really good coming across as you read it too, Zach. It read very well. So there was a lot of things to this that really grabbed me past the title when that song went in my head. You started reading and it helped make that song go away because it had its own rhythmic quality that drew me in. So I liked the piece. It was well read and well written. Your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I thought this was a gripping piece. It did grab me too, and I just like the feeling of being on a beach too. Like there was like the tide and the conch, and like you said, I think like there's also like a feeling of rising too, like a bird. There's a steadily like a physical sensation of rising, especially in the third stanza, as like you're kind of eye level with the angels, and wings headed for lofty heights with hopes tucked inside, like much like wings in a way, how wings are sort of I think like when wings flap, like in a sense, like I could see hopes being sort of hidden like feathers alongside alongside those wings as I guess it's such a like an image of optimism too. I think that sort of in a lofty sense that hopes can be high for these two because they hold such rich memories together. How it just it's a brief moment of time before it slipped into yesterday, but it's so clearly remembered by the speaker in such detail. So sometimes those brief moments can really make a large impact in the grand scheme of like one's life. I think.
Absolutely.
Just well done all around.
Yeah. Well said, Zach. Great comment. We ready to move to the next one?
Yes, we are. That is Pac-Man's piece, and that's your read. AI, I think.
Oh boy, yeah. I got lost in that image. Did you open it up and look at the image, Zach?
I did. It's kind of
stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that can't see it, I'll describe it to you. It's a android of some sorts, AI plugged in a little bit matrixy in the backside, but the synapses are firing. There's lights all over through the nerves that are represented in it, and it's a really neat. But the face is female, and it looks like it's in thought, doesn't it?
Mm.
So here we go. AI by Pac-Man. Let's see where he takes us. What are you? Or more important, what will you be? Do you believe you'll one day become sentient like me? Is it your desire to impersonate a he or a she? And will you exist solely by force of decree? Self-awareness is not a gift to bestow. It's more than a measure of degree and plateau. As our species matures, it becomes status quo, a phrase you're not required to undergo. A phase you're not required to undergo. Will the extent of your abilities provide a thing to behold? Shall we envision a leap of renaissance about to unfold? Do we here witness an unparalleled threshold? Are you capable of restraint, if I may be so bold? The government and industry are salivating to speak. Are their intentions honorable, though I suspect oblique? Are we warned to pull back from this daunting feat? Do we then end with a product that endures no critique? Much will be said as we observe fabrication. Did we set in a place measures to stave aberration? Have we successfully harnessed this new world creation? Will you then deign to attend your own coronation? Your computational skills are a worthy attribute. We humbly await your request to bear fruit, with task underlying that demand pursuit. Your light speed retrieval is without dispute. The preponderance of evidence is brought to the fore. There exists a realm we must transit as never before, the rudiments of which we've yet to explore. The pitfalls in abundance are hard to ignore. The tasks to be accomplished are yet without understanding. In all likelihood, their number will continue expanding. The echoes of the populace can be heard demanding. Their volume and timbre defy misunderstanding. Will gratefully assist with the ladder's next run, for the verses of your accolade are yet to be sung. No request at this time is considered far flung. Like an avalanche downhill, the bell cannot be unrung. End poem. Boy, that was a thinker all the way through. Guys, I want to apologize to Pac-Man that the areas I stumbled on there weren't because of the way it was written. It was because of the substance. I was thinking my way through, and it caused me pause a couple of times as I was thinking. Go ahead with your comments, Zach.
Yeah, this was a an interesting piece. Like this was as you said, a thinker, and I just got the sense of something that AI, I guess, is meant to be curtailed or restricted in a sense. That I think like there's a lot of questions that are being asked, and these questions are, in a sense, wanting a sort of restriction on the advancement of AI and sort of or admonishment of being like what would happen if it was left unchecked. I think, um, and it's sort of put restrictions on the advancement of this process and so to prevent it from uncontrollably like expanding and like almost dooming humanity in a sense, because that's what I get from like the last few stanzas, that it's just this is unstoppable force like an avalanche almost burying humanity in the process. Yeah, it's kind of ominous. There's not much it's like a warning almost that like what can't that can't be undone. It might already be too late. Essentially, is what I'm getting from the piece. Despite some humans that might be kind of resisting somewhat the spread of this technology, that's kind of almost like a virus in a way. It's just yeah, it's ominous and thoroughly modern for sort of today's uneasy AI circumstance. That's like very just like science fiction come to life.
Yeah, how do we put the genie back in the bottle, huh? You sure don't, because there's some good things that come from AI, but then there's some bad things that come from AI, and this is the warning I think that comes from this piece as he wrote it. It is ominous, it is, but the way he wrote it with using 4-line stanzas and hard rhyming each end of each line gave it a little bit of a it softened it a little, you know. So as I'm reading it, I'm hitting that hard rhyme and I'm like, there's a rhythm to this, but it kind of softens the blow, and that's why as I was reading it, started thinking back to the lines I read before, because each stanza is its own kind of thought process within the greater story, and it becomes more and more ominous as you're reading it. Like it sinks in. It's just topical at first because of the rhyme necessarily, and then it just absorbs, and you're like, oh, right. We got some issues here, which we all are aware of as any kind of artistic endeavor. I mean, you can go to Suno and you can use AI to write, and I've done it. The intro and outro was done on Suno. I used AI for that, but the reason I did is because I can't play instruments and sing and record and stuff like that, and I could do it very easily here for an intro and outro to this podcast. So, it has its benefits, but is that a benefit? Because if people can make music without actually knowing how to play instruments, what happens to the instruments over time? They become obsolete. We no longer need them. So there's a lot of different things. It's just a gift that keeps on giving when you start talking about AI taking the place of humans, especially, in certain circumstances like artistic ones. Great piece back, man. A real thinker. Appreciated reading it. What do we got next, Zach?
All right. Next up, we have Jeg 325's piece, and that's entitled Incomplete. I'm going to give that a read. Night was a black fog draped over my heart, a blanket holding in silence that refused to depart. Clock ticks falling like judgmental raindrops from an emotional storm. Reason couldn't stop. My unlit bedroom, an incomplete painting as damp eyes linger on your abandoned ring. M-Poem.
Once again, Jack really jammed it in there in that short space. It's a very short piece, but rhythmically the way it read, Zach, and I know you can look at it, it has a very pleasant visual too. How you see how uniform it is, stanza to stanza, all the way down, and it read the same way. It read in a nice, smooth, rhythmic way and jammed a lot of thoughts in there. But basically, what he's saying is, there's this wedding ring that is sitting there, and it's reminding him of the marriage and all that, which is, no longer there. And night was a black fog draped over my heart, a blanket holding in silence that refused to depart. It's a great opening stanza, very short and to the point. He's sad. He's sad and not over it. And that's basically all this says. And the title of the poem, Incomplete, it probably references as much his inner feelings, but also the incompletion from the jewelry. Like that jewelry is made to bond a husband and a wife. And it's not completing its purpose when it's not worn, when it's disregarded. So that's what that says to me. It's very, very sad, melancholy. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, this was a sort of a pretty depressing brevity, all in all. Heavy in a sense. Like night is sometimes a source of comfort, but in a sense, it's not in this case. It's very, I guess, it's kind of oppressive in a way with the clock ticks falling like judgmental raindrops. I could that's sort of a very powerful image to me, from an emotional storm. So it's either like, to me, like raindrops, like tears that are falling, because it's just hitting the speaker in such a way. And I think like these tears are obscuring the speaker's sight to a degree, like the way, incomplete painting is obscured in a way, sort of, it's incomplete. And it's sort of like its construction is ended, sort of premature, just like the relationship is kind of ended, and before it could really evolve to be a complete painting. Like in the process, I don't think it's just stopped mid construction. Essentially, it's not left to fully develop. And I thought that was pretty cool within the confines of a brevity. And yeah, it just zeroes in on the ring at the end, and as a kind of a lingering image, that the speaker was abandoned by someone, and that leaves a mark, and many marks, in fact, as clear to it's very clear to me, in fact, in this piece.
Yeah, it is very clear. There's definitely pain there. Pain and darkness. All right, Zach, what do we got next?
All right. Next up is You, and that's the Queen Mother. That's your read.
Are you going to be able to make it through this one, Zach? We'll
see. I'm going to have to mute myself, maybe. We'll find out.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warn everybody at this point right now. Okay, this poem is not, in my mind, in any way a bad thing. It's just words. And the title of the poem is The Queen Mother. I wrote it years ago, and I'll explain after I read it. So without further ado, here we go. The Queen Mother by Unexpected Bill. A study in language as an art. That's where it begins, so that's my start. A poet, a philosopher, an immature male. One single little word makes everyone wail. Rooted in medieval times, Germanic or Dutch, it's a word so useful, I may use it too much. This word crosses lines, others don't cross. In pleasant company, leaves them at a loss. Fuck is the word. It describes almost all. Listing examples is my next port of call. I'm going to get vulgar on this fucking level, but I believe in God, so go fuck the devil. Exploring a word, fucked up as it may seem. Immature? Maybe. Like a fucking wet dream. Am I fucked up? Fuckity fuck. Used for emphasis almost every way. Is it wrong or right? Fucking A. Apologies for the offense. I'm not a trucker. I love the word fuck. What a motherfucker. In music, it's used, rap, rock, and more. Derogatory. I hate the phrase. In quotes. So I fuck that whore. It's context, not just a word. Fuck me. I'm such a turd. Expressing hatred. Fuck off and die. I like the word fuck. That ain't no lie. 4 letters in a certain order. Creating chaos. Fucking disorder. I could go on forever and ever. Surely I can pursue another endeavor. Fucking, that's it. Making love forever. Soap in my mouth makes me blow bubbles. Reminds me of childhood. I got in trouble. Thank you, Mom and Dad. My cursing was your blessing. I want you both to know I learned my fucking lesson. In poem. Go ahead, Beavis. I went ahead and tapped into that image live there.
All right. Yeah, I think my favorite part about this piece was the tone, really, of how like apologetic and defiant it is. It's humorous too, and slightly sophomoric, but intelligently so. And that's a paradox to me. How like something kind of sophomoric could just develop and sort of like progressive, like intelligent sort of like a series of phrases, exploring the etymology of the word and the numerous sort of examples that that are provided by the speaker and the relationship that the speaker has with the word. It's humorous, but it's also just unapologetically like in your face in a way, and yeah, it's just I really enjoyed it. It doesn't like it explores it just excuse me, it doesn't like read so vulgar to me as like just really exploring in depth what a word can mean to the speaker, like in such a way, and in such a like I could tell the speaker really enjoys using this word in particular, and it just it's evident. I could sort of hear the joy expressed within the tone too, as well. There's a bit of a joy as well. I didn't mention that, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Bill.
Zach, this comes from the most immature, sophomoric part of me that exists. I mean, it's something, honestly, I appreciate your thoughts because I tried to write it from like a very intelligent perspective, but in a dumbed down sophomoric way that kind of disarms people. And you know, the reference, I've had people say, well, why would you reference God and the devil in this poem? Well, that's good versus evil in the classic sense. I mean, if you ask Christians everywhere, good versus evil, what is that? God versus the devil. So is the word evil? You know, the word's so it's just a word. What you do with that word makes it evil or not. That's the thing. The context. People get all wrapped up in this word being offensive. A word's just 4 letters. You know, it doesn't mean anything. So I had this debate with my buddy at work, and you know, we were both on the same page. It wasn't really a debate because we were on the same side. It was like, I can't believe people get offended by this word. Now I get it. You shouldn't use it, you know, in certain places and stuff like that. I understand, but it has a place in art for sure. It has a place in movies, any kind of artistic anything. It has a place. Because every other word, if you restrict out, if you edit out that word, if you take it out of something that it was intentionally put in, you're changing the intention of the creator. So, you know, that's kind of where we got with that. And also, it's so sophomoric. I remember this is drawn, if you've ever seen the movie A Christmas Story, and everybody in the world has, I believe, seen the movie The Christmas Story. When he says that word, he's helping his father change the tire on the car, and he drops the lug nuts and he says, "Oh, fudge." Only I didn't say that. I used the queen mother of all dirty words. That's where the title comes from that particular thing. I took it right from there, and the tone was supposed to match it because the mom freaks out, calls the neighbor's mom, his best friend's mom, and asks where he heard that word. She says clearly over the phone, he probably heard it from his father. So that takes me back to my childhood. My dad established a long time ago, whenever I was in the garage, I could man talk at 10 years old, but not in the house. If I did it in front of my mom or my stepmom, it was discipline. So it's kind of funny. I mean, that's how this is homage to my childhood and all of that stuff. And I'm glad it hit that way, Zach, because people can be offended by things that I just don't find offensive, and I hope that opens their mind a little bit and says, oh yeah, there's more important things to worry about. So that's where it all comes from. And I'm ready to move on if you are.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Wednesday, October's piece, and that's Collar Up and Weathered. And I'm going to give that a read. My favorite denim shirt with Western pockets and pearlized snaps ended up at the bottom of the drink. Had to be fished out with a boat hook. Hung to dry on the flybridge ladder on a hanger with no tether. Mistake one. It acted as a sail and anchor. The carp were the only witnesses. Spiders do not care about such things. As it sank to the bottom of the harbor. Didn't miss it until 7 days later. Second and final mistake. By then, it had started its decomposition. Frayed and weathered before its deathly plunge. It kept stories underneath my breast. Helped soothe babies as they nestled in the space between my jawbone and shoulder. Navigated a course on Lake Huron across Thunder Bay as 5 to 6 footers drenched the bow of a 36-foot sport fish. Watched the wide eyes of a 5-year-old flinch as they shot cannons at Fort McKinnock. Now, with holes at both elbows and paper thin like aged lips, perfectly faded, too worn to wear, I keep it neatly folded in my summer drawer, collar up. End poem. Billy, you on mute, maybe?
Yes, I was on mute, Zach. I was trying to click it and I kept missing it when I was talking. Two things at once is challenging me, I guess. So it's a really neat thing that she did here with this. She wrote her history in the history of a shirt. So this shirt, she had, and it had been through so many different things, but it starts out with a simple line, my favorite denim shirt with Western pockets and pearlized snaps. So she has this shirt that she likes and she's wearing it out on the boats and, to the beach and all that. She's had it for years and it's dropped off into the water. And, it has this history, but it's historically, it is bookmarking her history in that way. And it's pretty cool that it's mentioned navigated a course. This is what the shirt's done. It's navigated a course on Lake Huron across Thunder Bay as 5 to 6 footers drenched the bow of a 36-foot sport fish. 5 to 6 foot waves on Lake Huron. That's not a good time. In a 36-foot boat, that sounds like a really big boat, but it would feel very small in 5 to 6 footers. Watch the wide eyes of a 5-year-old flinch as they shot cannons at Fort Mackinac. It's kind of neat how she describes these things. It's really, really cool. And I like the fact that it closes by saying she's still got the shirt. It's folded up in my summer drawer, collar up, ready to go. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Oh, this was an interesting sort of a combination of like a series of memories told through like almost the lens of a shirt. The shirt almost felt like a character to me in a way that it had a history and an appearance that was very specific. And I just like what this kind of the stories that are hidden, as the speaker says, nestled under the breast, and especially the one where the one where it was fished out at the bottom of the drink, or how the a lake or the harbor rather, it was referred to as the drink. I've heard that before, that expression, and I just like that phrase. I like. It just seems to have this history. It's colorful in a way, and it's only known to the speaker. So it's very special and almost nostalgic that way. In such a way that is very unique in a sense that can only be understood by again the speaker. It's very personal that way. Very well done of this right.
It's really personal. Is that the first one you've actually had yourself read from Wednesday in October?
Oh, you usually read these from Wednesday.
Because I think that was the first one that you had actually read, is what I thought, Zach. It queued up for you this time, and I think it's the first one. Those read very smoothly, don't they?
Definitely. That was a smooth read.
Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I've noted from her style, is it's a very smooth style, not a hard rhyming style or anything like that, but it has a smoothness. Honestly, she writes about beaches and water quite a bit, from what I've read anyway. And the style feels like, a slow day at the beach. Is
right. Yep. Didn't detect any rhyme or anything, but it still flowed very well.
Still had a smoothness, didn't it? Smoothness. How we all have different techniques, that we use that are our go-to kind of our signature, and we use them so effectively.
Definitely.
What do we got next, man?
Oh, next up we have Mario with not one, not two, but 3 O's, and that's Salted Wound and Eyes for This Paradise, and that's your read.
That was special, Zach. Not two, but 3.
3.
Salted Wound and Eyes for This Paradise by Mario with 3 O's. Boredom filled the above seas while fishing, the only connection beneath. Wounded my fingers, breaking the distant closeness. I craved for it to heal. The time it takes couldn't make me wait. So I dived for it. Salted wound and eyes won't blind the beauty it hides. Let this current torture and push me to the depths where I too discover and explore. Drag me in closer and closer. Let the blue seas turn ocean for the sea turtles to help me dive deep into this deep. I strip down for this body to feel the depth for this nature's paradise to take me whole. Could feel the pressure pressing in on me. This time, my crushed soul dissolves in this newest world. In poem. I think I know what he's writing about. Go ahead, Zach. What are your thoughts?
This was an interesting piece. I like the oceanic layers to this. I personally felt like almost like this was the speaker was almost like, in a sense, like one of those pearl divers from like in history, like who would just dive for oysters and find pearls within. And in a way, that's what this reminds me of. Just kind of diving further and further into the depths. And in a way, it's a healing journey. It seems like there's like the need to explore and just sort of and feel. And there's like pressure because it's the bottom of the ocean. There's like this pressure being felt, and I think that the speaker almost becomes a part of the ocean at the bottom. Like I'm not sure if like the speaker really survives because the time crushed the soul and it dissolves into the newest world. Maybe he just in a sense just becomes lost within it temporarily. I'm not sure if he just perishes, because I don't think that's the case. I'm not getting that sense of darkness, but I just kind of just get a sense of like discovery and exploration overall.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Zach. I don't think there's any darkness. And I believe what you're referring to, and you felt the same thing I did, is called free diving. When you're
Mm.
diving, they dive, and it's still done. There's some things, that are uh, dived for and harvested out of the ocean that are edible and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cultures that have this free diving. You'll find it in, the Pacific Islands and all over the place where they go down and they do that. Some is commercial and some is for subsistence. So it's neat how he describes this. And this is another, I felt like this read, doing the poem you did before from Wednesday to this poem, the transition is very nice because there's a smoothness to this one too that was really kind of nice to read. But there was a drama to this one that is more intense because of the description of the dive and some of the words used. I particularly like for I to discover and explore. I'll read the whole stanza again. Let this current torture and push me to the depths, for I too discover and explore. I think that's a look inward. Now, what could possibly give you that ability, clarify yourself, and make you concentrate and silence everything around but nature, be it in a dive, standing out in the middle of the woods, whatever, in a cave spelunking, whatever it is the common theme is the natural world. The natural world brings it all back around because you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, to quote a band. So it's funny, though, that we forget and we get wrapped up in our lives, in our hustle and bustle, in AI and phones, in what we're doing now, all these things that we're connected to. But sometimes it's nice to disconnect and just leave yourself out there in nature and feel everything that's within you that it will awaken, or at least remind you of is there. So I love this piece, Mario. It's actually, I think this is one of my favorites by Mario. Not to say that I don't read any others, but this is one of my favorites because it's really, really well described and it hit home for me. I liked it a lot. What do we got next?
All right. Next up is mine. Hormone Erotica. That's Zach, you already know. And that's entitled The House That Feeds.
Great image too, Zach.
Yeah. Thanks. Ivy crawls up the trellises, over the shingled roof, across the gutters, down the shutters, past the logs, the brick, to the poured concrete. 2 field surgeons built the place, worked bloody battlefields, climbed up the ladders in universities and hospitals, gifted in the art of amputating soldiers and saving lives, earning much. They maintain the place with the ongoing help of their massive brood. The failed firstborn, the torso, the flower child, the kiss-ass, the owl. The house leans inward and outward, rambling, gray, wood losing luster. Rectangular windows stare resolute at granite and shale cobblestones, where 5 frightened children stir in the lengthy shadow of that house. Adam, hungry since he was born, had trouble digesting meat. He's the youngest of the children, drawn to fertile soil, vegetation, feet planted firm in the earth, wiggling his cooled toes. His parents' place, a mansion, had several groves and a courtyard. 4 high walls shooting up were not climbable, not with prosthesis. Rhea stomps the house's shadowed grounds with her metal limbs. She tries to run and looks like a bird struggling to spread its wings. Hustling, moved her legs, constant motion. Her muscled stumps seldom without wheelchair, she pushes herself hard and stubborn. In fear of her parents, she clings to the others, not trusting. Kala glares at Rhea while she prunes Ivy, her house duty, watching her careening way forward, following the noise, just like the charting progress of a ship on one of her maps. Observant, she's the only child here to encounter death. A baby bird falls out of its nest, opening, closing its beak. Landing close to her, the thing. She picked it up, tried to nurse it. Poor bird died in her heated palms. She buried him in a corner. Below, the children. A truncated human takes shallow breaths, full of tubes, snaking out of his hospital nightie. Red liquid flows, pumped through the coiling plastic into 2 dark blood bags. One drink for him and one for her to celebrate another success. Both parents blink. Each eye blinks lopsided. They stand still, not as motionless as Elias, the man with no arms or legs, slurping each bag. The parents gulp the blood noisily down. The family feeds itself. The house feeds itself. Elias screamed and pumped.
So I'm going to read your author's notes before I come back, because I thought about this while you were reading this. I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. It says first part of a horror series. Outline is done. Just need to write the installments. Image mine. So Zach created a lovely image of some kids standing in front of an old scary house, all in grayscale too. I like that, because grayscale to me is so much more emotional than color when used correctly for the right circumstance. And you used it in your image there very well. But I was thinking as you were reading this, I wonder if he plans on writing like a series of stories, and this is the introduction of the characters, the parents and all that. There's vampire play in here. Sorry if I ruined it for everybody, but there's mention of blood and the taste and all that stuff. So my guess is this has got a long way to go, and I won't ruin any surprise by saying what I conjured in my brain, because I don't want to influence what you're writing. But I see a series from this, Zach, that goes on 4, 5, 6 parts, however long you want to do it. But it is a fascinating base. What you did is laid down the character baselines here in a very, very good way, because the information sticks about each kid and the house and what it looks like. Your imagery is very, very well developed here. I can tell you put a whole lot of thought into it. And it's a neat little story in and of itself, but this is just the foundation for a greater story that's yet to come, I do believe. Go ahead, Zach. Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bill. This is definitely part of a larger story, 14 parts so far. I'm working on the third one right now, and this one, I guess, was inspired by a lot of different kind of narratives, like People Under the Stairs by Wes Craven, Cook, Thief, Lover, and Wife by Peter Greenaway, and all kinds of permutations of Hannibal, and also this film by Yorgos Lanthimos called Dogtooth. Dogtooth, in a way, like the way the parents kind of modify their children's behavior is very reminiscent of that film in a way. But the other ones are essentially reference cannibalism in some way, but not an overt way. I try to really downplay that and not make it the centerpiece of the piece. I really don't like the idea of delving too much into the gore of that. I just there's like a psychology involved with that's about like there's like sort of like about control and about how the house and the parents are nurtured essentially in a very they do it through force in a way, and it's very evident, but I just wanted to downplay the more taboo sort of cannibalism in favor of like the character development and the house and the setting, rather than the overt sort of nature of some of that gory stuff.
Yeah, but you labeled it horror, Zach. So
yeah.
There's several things that are in play when it comes to horror, and I believe what you did there was very good in hinting at it, in alluding to it, but not clubbing the reader over the head with it. You let my imagination wander as you were reading it, and I was reading along with you. My imagination was wandering. I was like, oh, and I got a little bit of a Stranger Things kind of thing going on, not necessarily as caperish and as silly as what Stranger Things was. Not that I'm saying it was a horrible thing, but this is more serious. This is more like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right. Like there's like a more of a bond. I want to be like the bond between these children is like serious to me. There's like this weird kindness to it within the horror.
There's a whole family.
They had these morals essentially, and the parents don't really have that as much.
It helps ground the characters, I think.
Yeah.
Is what you were doing there, and you've done it very effectively. Kudos to you, Zach. Is really well done, because you had me hook, line, and sinker. It's like, oh, okay, I get this and I get that, and then I heard, oh, somebody's missing limbs, and
yeah, you get the details.
Like, oh, I think I know what's going on here. All right, what do we got next, Zach?
All right, next up we have Purple Gerbera's piece, and that's The Feminist in that series.
Okay. I'll give this a read, but I want to go over the author's notes first. It says, to whoever reading this, I don't care how petty this is, but I would love to direct your attention towards a comment in my comment section by Joy and Joy. He is a brave individual for very shamelessly justifying the guy's actions in my poem. His monologue. Oh boy, I don't think I need to read that. I apologize. I don't think I should read that. I think I should just leave that be. But basically, Purple got a negative comment on this from somebody, and she was worried about us reading it. And I told her, it is something, people get offended because they want to be offended sometimes. They don't understand exactly, what the point is of the piece or whatever. And I don't want to delve into that any further than that. But to say, if it's intelligently written and not hateful, it is a piece of art to me.
Salad.
And that's really bottom line. If it offends you, you have the right to not read it. So that's what I would tell people. You have the right to not comment. If it offends you, just don't read it again. So this is The Feminist by Purple Gerbera. In her words, everybody is equal. No gender should be treated unfair. Nobody should be judged on their looks or their life or what they wear. She loves her boyfriend and every human she meets until she shoves you aside or stomps over your feet. Her boyfriend was just as empathetic, loving every woman he sees, no regard if she's taken or uninterested, just as long as they were beautiful ladies, going as far to plant kisses on their mouths as his affectionate display. Followed with, what's the big deal? So your only option is to turn away. Go to his feminist girlfriend and speak what you have to say. She will turn to him and ask, is this all true? And all it takes is, it's a lie. You trust me, don't you? For her, just decision to sway and call you an attention-seeking whore. The betrayal so baffling and so hard to ignore. Yet the woman wonders why she isn't taken seriously anymore. End poem. What are your thoughts on that, Zach, or do you want me to go first?
Could you go first? I need to process this one a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind. Okay, so I read this, and I read it, and I thought about it from a circumstance. So really, what this is talking about is not anything like any kind of real overt, horrible sex act or anything like that. It's just this guy apparently likes to kiss hello. He believes that he can touch people and kiss them and stuff like that. And there is a certain level of inappropriateness to that based on the relationship. I mean, you don't go kiss hello people at a work thing. You don't do that. You don't pat them on the backside. And especially what people have taken notice of is this man is doing it to only the women deemed attractive, is what it says. So, and it's putting these women in this awkward position because they're uncomfortable. It's sexual harassment's what it is. I mean, that's by the book, sexual harassment. The only thing that it didn't say was it was the boss or something like that. But even a coworker sexually harassing another coworker, it's a horrible, horrible thing. And I can tell you, I've worked in a factory for a very long time. This stuff happens. This stuff happens, and people don't think it's any big deal. There's, a gentleman that is an engineer that'll come by, and he's very handsy. He puts his hands on my shoulder and, rubs my back and stuff like that when he walks by. And it doesn't make me feel bad. I mean, it doesn't. But if he's doing that to the women I work with, there could be a problem, because I'm okay with it doesn't mean that it's okay with everybody, and that's what this is saying. And then this guy is there with a girl, with a woman that is a feminist, and she doesn't say anything. She keeps her mouth shut and doesn't say, hey, we'll treat women like that. And that's the offensive part of it. It's offensive that the guy's doing it, but his girlfriend allows it, which is even more offensive because, of the, I guess, how she could not be sympathetic or empathetic to the other women. So I appreciate this piece for what it is. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, this guy, he's a deceptive individual. I mean, morally, he just is by the wayside and just putting his hands on women he deems attractive and kissing them somehow he's essentially playing the victim here with his girlfriend, I think, and he's being very manipulative that way. It's quite obvious to me what he's doing. I think he's gaslighting her a bit. Essentially, and calling her an attention-seeking whore when it's really the overt handiness is so blatant. It's really hard to believe that like it's so large in life what he's doing to to these women, unfortunately. But like, it happens all the time. It's so commonplace, but like I just it's really upsetting. But I do like how the speaker makes it so that like it's like, despite like it's just it's ironic that the boyfriend calls sorry, I'm just kind of a little bit just got a little bit angry for a second.
Yeah, I agree, Zach. I agree. Well,
I tried to like process it, but I kind of got lost essentially.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I think that what you felt and what I felt from this, would you act this way? No. Would I act this way? No, because it's inappropriate. And to turn around and blame the person for saying something like, hey, don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, you prude? What's wrong with you? Nobody's doing anything to you. It doesn't matter.
No, it's just so many guys would do that. It's just disgusting.
Right. But sexual harassment is not what the person that does it thinks it is. It's
right.
what the person that receives it thinks it is. So that's important. And I'm going to share just a little bit of something that happened to me, and I had no idea. I had somebody put their hands on me at work one time, and it was a man, and I couldn't believe it, and I was angry. I was so angry when I realized what happened, and things got taken care of in a way, but not the way I chose to take care of them myself, because I wasn't going to tell anybody. I was just going to take action, which is the wrong thing to do. In the end, it's all worked out okay, but it's made me a lot more empathetic to women in the workplace, especially women in the workplace, because there are some insensitive assholes out there that will absolutely take advantage as far as they can. And I don't think we need to dwell on it anymore, but this was a great piece of feminine power and awareness, on somebody for beating that down. The reaction from the man in the poem calling her a whore and a prude and whatever exact term she used. That's amazing, because you're victimizing the victim again, which is ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on. Great piece, Purple, and we were happy to read it for you. Thank you for submitting. What do we got next, Zach?
Next up we have let me get it out. Dark Night of the Souls piece, and that's Meeting at the Old Gate. And that's my read, correct? Or is that yours?
Sorry?
I can't remember. Dark Night of the Souls piece. Is that my read or yours?
Oh, we both got so angry on Purples.
We
both got so worked up on Purples that we're lost. Yes, it's yours.
Okay. All right, this is our poet of the month, Dark Night of the Soul, Meeting at the Old Gate. After I quit Top's meat department, an old work buddy, Eric, would come to my parents' house. I'd meet him at our old rickety front gate. I never offered him in. He never asked. He'd tell work stories. How names I forgot got fired for stealing lobsters, which I'll never forget. Whom Jean Marie was dating this week, and how no one worked the water hose on a meat grinder like me. He'd bring taco Doritos, and we'd inhale a bag from opposite sides of the fence. This continued for a few years. He'd visit, sharing he was working overtime this week, how he wished he got out of meat room cleanup, and how his dreams were filled with washing chicken slicers and meat saws. I never offered him in. He never asked. Some friendships are content in their smallness. We lost touch after I moved. I never learned if he got away. I imagined him married with kids and still putting squeegee to the floor, pushing water, bone, bristle, gizzard, and Paul.
That's a little picture there that we've had drawn for us by Dark Night of the Soul. It's a great read. This was also picked for front page 5 days ago. I did see it there. I didn't read it because I didn't want to kill it because I knew it was submitted to our podcast, and I wanted it to be a fresh read there. So it's an interesting way of describing it, and I love that he's talking about this relationship. He's remembering this friendship, but this friendship had its limitations, and both parties were okay with the limitations of the friendship. They would just meet there, and they would chat about work and share stories and catch up on things that are going on because one was still at the place where they met working and the other had moved on. So it's neat in that respect because, whether this was the first job ever or anything like that, whether it was Dark Knight's first job or not, the guy that was there when he got there, his friend, Eric, his buddy, is probably still there because that's what happens. People get into jobs, they build careers from them. And, spraying down in the meat room in the meat department, the saw room in the meat department is probably not the highest rung on the ladder you go on. I would imagine being a butcher and all that, could possibly open up as a career field from there. So there's all these possibilities, which Dark Knight does not really say he knows, what this guy did in his career or anything, but he pictures him. He believes he's probably still there because he's that kind of guy, dedicated and into his job. But it's neat because you build friendships from people that you work with. I've actually worked side by side with one of my buddies, Jeff. I met him at work and we worked side by side. And my wife always used to say we were like two gossiping bitches because we would spend all day at work and then call each other and talk about stuff at night and then go play basketball and go mushroom hunting and stuff like that. That's how friendships are built. But not everybody's that way. You can't have those deep of friendship with everybody. So you also have these friendships that are limited, which are a good thing too, and they have their place. And I appreciate the nostalgic look at that friendship and the appreciation for what it is and was. Great piece, Dark Knight. Your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I really thought that this was an emotional piece. I thought that like the line in particular, some friendships are content in their smallness, was my favorite. I think that's such a truth. And really, the poem is an expansion of that truth. Putting character to a work friendship where clear boundaries are maintained and they're healthy on either side. And there's like a mutual sort of comfort here. And I like that on either side. And there's like a specificity to the details. I appreciated like the taco Doritos they would sort of eat on opposite sides of the fence, and like the lobsters, like some of these details of just of their lives essentially leaking into the piece. Like even their dreams too, they would like sort of fill each other in on these details, and that weren't quite small talk. It's not, it's beyond like that kind of stuff, that kind of smallness. It's a small friendship, but it's not like an acquaintance. It's an acquaintanceship. It's definitely a little bit more pronounced than that. And it's just one of those things that happens when folks move away, and you never know what happens with them, but you still think about what they do or how they are living, because you maintain such a friendship with that person. You could still, they make an impression on you, and you remember what they've done and how they've acted, and you can still imagine them doing something like that with their future, essentially. I like that.
Once again, the contrast of Dark Night of the Soul's pen name versus his writing cracks me up. It really makes me laugh. I always appreciate that because it's so tongue in cheek. But this has such a softness to it. It really does that is nice. And Dark Knight is really good at pulling out that emotion subtly and easily. I mean, even with all the details, it's not over detailed, it's not under detailed, it's just right detailed.
That's right.
Just right.
Right.
It draws you into the story and tells it to you, and before you know it, you're drifting away into the moonlight.
I was really like, the smile is forming already, man.
He was getting ready, wasn't you? I can only trick you so many ways.
You got me though. Every time it's something different. So I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Right. As well as I appreciated the change you did, the subtle change in Marie, not one.
Oh, right.
Not one, not two, but 3 O's.
Yeah.
That made me giggle. So all in all, we had a great show, man.
Definitely.
A little bit of a problem there in the beginning with my headset, which I'm going to fix immediately, and then thank God it never happens. Now I'm gonna have to go and start 10 minutes early instead of 5 minutes early when I fire everything up and make sure it's okay. Because
gee.
I
heard you right at the start. You went, what the hell? At the start.
Just right from the beginning. Kicked right in the teeth. But we got through it. Only one mute, and Kaija didn't act the fool this week. That's a good thing. So,
well, man.
Everybody, we'll see you next week. Thanks, Zach. Always a great show and a good time, man.
Oh, likewise, Bill. Looking forward to next week.
See you then.